As a result of him being brought in September, the case was reopened by authorities. Now, here's where things get sketchy. Regret begins to set in with woman number 2. Woman number 2 is the one who contacted the attorney. But woman number 2 also, she's regretting. And of all the people in the world, if you're going to tell somebody about a rape or something, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend, no. She decides to call woman number 1. And woman number 1 and woman number 2, they realize when they started talking, he doesn't love me. Oh, he's a liar. He's a dirtbag. Few days pass. I mean, why act right away? After the revelation that he didn't love them, and that's when the 2 women took action. And the 2 women now, because 2 women claiming this is so much better than 1, they went together to the police to report that they were seeking advice on how to proceed with an assault claim. Woman number 2 claimed that she was upset that Assange had refused to wear a condom when he asked. And, I don't know. Woman number 1 said that, raped him in between the party and the breakfast. I don't know. Does that sound right to you? I want you to know, I am not defending Assange. I think he is a dirtbag. He obviously has no problem using his 15 minutes of fame to sleep with anyone who is crawling. But I have to tell you something. If you look at the people who are all lining up in defense of Julian Assange, and you see that these 2 are uber leftist as well, and you know the case that we have laid out over especially the last 6 months of bottom up, top down, and inside out, something's wrong. I want you to know the government is lying to you. I have made a living out of the last 2 years telling you the government is lying. Julian Assange is not saying anything new. But why? I go back to the beginning. Why is he being held up by the uber left? And the same uber left demonizes me. Well, maybe because I don't want revolution. I just want honesty and integrity. This guy believes in global chaos and bringing down the system. This man is different. And that is the problem. He is a dangerous man. I want the lies exposed, and so do you. I want smaller government. No, he doesn't. He is anti-government. Do you remember when I told you that those who want real power are looking to use anarchists and chaos to their advantage? It's bottom up, top down, and inside out. Remember this episode I showed you. Anarchists, all these anarchists, they just want to overthrow everything. He's one of them. That's what's happening here. The problem here is that this guy has started a ticking time bomb. It doesn't matter what happens at this point. It doesn't matter if he raped somebody or didn't rape somebody at this point, really, for you. If you want him to continue to release his documents because you say, yes, they're lying, well, it means that the governments across the globe can no longer function because they won't trust each other and the system will fail. It's Cloward and Piven's system on dishonesty overwhelmed the system. On the other hand, if you want him picked up off the street, you have to come up with something. I mean, he hasn't committed a crime. Are we writing a new law for him? Are we going to put him in jail? And if we do, for what? This guy may have raped 3 women. I don't know. I do know he's blackmailing the entire globe. No one will believe it. Think of this. If the guy is legitimately hit by a truck walking down the street, he was drunk and he drank it himself, what percentage of the planet is going to believe that that was an accident? I mean, what are the odds of all of this happening? I'm not convinced this is anything other than a setup by the left on the left. The cynic in me says that Julian Assange is a player with the left, and all the while he's being used by the left. They'll speed it up. They are causing more distrust in the system. Look at the reaction to this story. Everyone is calling this a honeypot or Operation Midnight Climax because they don't trust anyone in the government anymore, and they shouldn't. But this story causes only more paranoia. It plays right into the hands of the uber left. Look how everyone is questioning the establishment. Have you read? Read the stories. Everyone is questioning the establishment. It's bottom up. We haven't scratched the surface on this story. This is like hour one of a season in 24. This is the beginning of the time that I told you would come, where you wouldn't know who to believe or what to believe. You had to be strong inside yourself first. Too many people right now in America are listening to their favorite talking head, whether it be me, Rush, Rachel Maddow, whoever, and they're parroting that. You cannot do that with this story. You must look into this story yourself and decide yourself, because the stability of the world is at stake. Julian Assange may not be the man of the year. He may not be the man of the decade or the century. He may actually turn out to be the man of the millennium, good or bad, because he may be the man that has pushed us off the edge and headed towards profound global change. I'm going to show you the solution tonight on this Assange thing. And it's funny to me how the media goes into detail when they want to find out what caused a terrorist to blow up innocent civilians. And then they don't even look at Julian Assange. What is his motivation? One quick look at some of his supporters should send up, and I don't mean to be punny here, but red flags. The Socialist Alliance in Assange's native Australia said WikiLeaks and Assange deserve our strongest support in their fight against the war and exploitation. The World Socialist website, also socialistworker.org, which is published by the International Socialist Organization, Socialist Party USA, and commondreams.org. These are some of the people that have come out today and supported him. On the website theblaze.com, there is new audio of Bill Ayers that came out today. It is stunning. He's actually annoyed in this interview for the interviewer suggesting that he has denounced violence in the past. He corrects him, but then compares himself and the Weather Underground to the WikiLeaks people. Watch.
And the kind of focus on the Weather Underground is this violent, unbelievably out of control thing. It reminds me kind of, if you put it in today's context, here we have WikiLeaks describing, revealing all the incredible things going on, the real assault on democracy by our government in a systematic way.
This is dangerous. This is going to appeal to a lot of people because there's a kernel of truth in it, and that is the government is out of control. But it's interesting, because at first glance, this would be counterintuitive. It's Bill Ayers coming out and supporting somebody who is going to hurt a friend of his, going to set the whole world on fire, and he's buddies with the president. Why would he take down Barack Obama? He helped launch Barack Obama's campaign. Well, I've told you, they are building a structure, and when that structure is finished, they need it to collapse into their arms. Bottom up, top down, collapse into the arms. Well, we're seeing it now, building of this structure with the FCC. This is the final stage, I believe. The new broadcast regulations, micromanaging all the way down to characters on TV shows. We'll show you this later on in the broadcast. So we have heirs, progressives, radicals, hating this country, the country that is so evil, it is killing innocent people, according to heirs, and they want to take it down. Take down all the global structure. For workers of the world, unite, and then start over with their own global government. There's a lot to be said for motive, because while all these communists stand behind Assange, some libertarians do as well. I believe they do, because they want to see the truth exposed so we can restore and repair a broken system. Ron Paul is standing behind Assange. I believe Ron Paul feels the way I do about this government, that it is out of control and it's not going to last, and it needs to be repaired. It needs to be reduced in size. But Assange is looking at breaking the entire system. The communists supporting him want the truth to come out because they know it will set the world on fire, and they will replace the system altogether. According to Time magazine, Assange founded WikiLeaks because he believed, quote, the free exchange of information would put an end to an illegitimate governance. Did you know that Assange flew to Kenya for the World Social Forum, an anti-capitalist convention, to make a presentation about the newly launched WikiLeaks website? Let's go back to what we discussed earlier. Assange and the two women accusing him of rape. If you read the newspapers, we've read a lot of them today, many of the newspapers and the reporters are now saying that the first woman is a CIA agent. Is she? I don't know. Is she a plant in the Uber left working for the CIA? I don't know. Is she not a CIA agent? Is she connected to the CIA? I don't know. I don't know. But does it matter? Let me give you two scenarios here and you tell me what happens. Woman number one, believed to be tied to radical organizations. She's hanging around SDS people. Well, of course Glenn Beck would say that. He's covering for the CIA. He's a neocon. So, really? So it works to their advantage, scenario number one. Other side, scenario number two. She's part of the CIA. She's a CIA agent. Of course she is. You think the government's going to let this stuff happen? CIA's out of control. You can't trust them. Did you hear the courts today said you now can assassinate people on foreign soil? So the left wins again. Either way you play it, the system collapses. Either way, it feeds into our legitimate distrust. You must control your distrust and be very wary. The enemy of your enemy is not your friend. Here's one thing. I want you to understand this. I do not trust the government as far as I can throw it. And have you seen the size of it? I can't pick it up. Anarchy, however, throws you into the arms of those who have built a new structure. Bottom up, top down, and inside out. Buckle up. Because this is a case that, again, splits Tea Partiers from libertarians and splits neighbor against neighbor. You have libertarians siding with uber leftists, Michael Moore and Ron Paul. Everyone knows a house divided cannot stand. So how do we solve this problem? How do we unite? It's Pandora's box. But there is a solution. Next.
As America climbs so far out on the branch that they can no longer see their roots, Glenn, a tree, and the answer for America. Next.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the Tree of Liberty. The Tree of Liberty. It was the tree where the founders and the revolutionaries at the time would all meet. They'd meet under the Tree of Liberty, and they would figure out, sorry, I could only find Ben Franklin. He was kind of lonely, apparently, under this Tree of Liberty. But now we have to face the question, is the Tree of Liberty dead? Is the American experiment over? Because there is a new seed. They are planting a new tree. In fact, it's an acorn that's being planted. And they've got all kinds of plans, and it does not resemble at all the old Tree of Liberty. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? The left is dividing and conquering, and they are tearing us apart. But we have to be able to come back together. How do you do that with the complex problems that we have? Well, I'll show you with a few things. Let's say this is the Tree of Liberty and the four branches here, if you will. Let's start with WikiLeaks. Everybody's telling you now we've got to arrest him, we've got to stop, we've got to batten down the hatches. Maybe some are even saying we've got to secure the internet. Okay, can we back up? Because we're all on the edges of these branches. And if you put enough weight on the ends of these branches, the tree will split in half. And that's what they're counting on. So here's WikiLeaks. Well, let's trace this branch back a little bit. Why do we have the WikiLeaks problem? Because of lax security. Why do we have lax security? Because of corrupt politicians and government. Why do we have that? Because the government is too powerful. They haven't had to answer to the people for a very long time. Why has that happened? Because we lost sight of the founders' vision. The founders' vision, America is good. The government works for me. The roots of this tree, courage, hard work, thrift, hope, honesty. It's the 912 trunk and roots, the 912 principles and values.